Do you have a highlight, a special moment, a personal achievement that stands out?
Oh, that's
You probably have had many, but is there a couple that you
it's
really
um
cling to?
I would have to say there was an aha moment that I had. Um, you were in particular, Ron, you and many other ball players in around 2017 and 2018. Everybody stepped up to help Fred Claire in his battle against cancer. And when Fred was facing actually a 20% survival rate odds that he had, first thing he said was, I need to turn around and we're going to do a golf tournament to raise money and awareness for City of Hope in Duarte. Long story short, after all that he's done, we wind up where the Dodgers honor him and let him throw out the first ball uh, in 2017 at the Old Timers game. What Fred did not know was when they invited he and his family out to the third base line to be introduced for the crowd, they had presented him with a 3 to 4 or 5 minute video message tribute to him. And I was standing near him photographing him, and Fred is looking at the message board. And that moment, it kind of really for me, because he was my mentor, he hired me. We were together all that time. I photographed him as he's watching the board, and I knew in his mind his battle to stay alive and seeing his history that he put all that effort, all those 30 years with the Dodgers, the tears started to roll on him, and I photographed it. Afterwards, we went back up to the suite where they had provided for he and his family and guests. I says, Fred, look at this photo. And I said, he's looking at it and he says, what are you asking me, Rich? And I says, he says, do you want to know if it's okay to share this? And I said, yes. And Fred says, absolutely. He says, Rich, photographs do not lie. This was about emotions. He says, and I'm not ashamed of it. He says, you please use it as you wish. That moment, that evening, going back, seeing the stadium, seeing old friends during old timers, seeing the emotions in Fred's face, I think that was a moment I'll never forget. And so it's more of a personal feeling that comes down to it for me.
There are moments in Dodger history that fans will never forget.
Back goes Parker, way back in his car.
Usually, we remember those moments thinking of the players on the field. Sometimes it's worth remembering the people behind the scenes, the ones who put those players into a Dodger uniform. Would Jackie Robinson have taken the field as a Dodger without Branch Rickey? Would Fernando Valenzuela become a Dodger legend without Mike Brito? And would Kirk Gibson have hit one of the most historic home runs in baseball history without former general manager Fred Claire making the move to bring him to the team? Fred not only helped build the last Dodger team to win a World Series, his imprint on the organization is still felt today. It was Fred Claire who hired analytics experts and improved communications throughout the organization. As Orel Hershiser said, it was Fred who gave us the first edge of being progressive and aggressive. The players on the 1988 championship team knew how valuable he was. Rick Dempsey caught the final pitch that won the World Series. And after the game, he presented the ball to Fred Claire, saying, Fred, this belongs to you. Claire ended up donating the ball to the Hall of Fame, where it's on display for all fans to see in an exhibit called Autumn Glory. Today, we're pleased to welcome back the man who brought Autumn Glory to Dodger Stadium. Here to throw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch, former Dodger general manager, Fred Claire.
And joining Fred tonight is his wife, Cheryl, daughters Jennifer and Kimberly, and granddaughter, Tyler. And catching the first pitch will be Mickey Hatcher, the first player that Fred Claire acquired in April 1987 when he became the general manager of the Dodgers. The veteran outfielder who originally began his career in the Dodger organization became a spark plug during the 1988 season and hit 2 home runs in the World Series. All right, gentlemen, let's see that pitch. Great pitch. Thank you, Fred, and thank you, Mickey, for being with us here tonight.
Extra innings, Fred Claire's journey to City of Hope and finding a world championship team.
Mr. Claire, why did you want to tell this story?
I wanted the story of City of Hope to have all of the attention that it could possibly receive. And also, all net proceeds from the book go to City of Hope. So it's both fundraising and exposure, having in a 5-year journey experienced what the City of Hope is all about.
Claire was thrusted into the GM role after veteran Al Campanis went on national television and made racially charged remarks. Within a week, Campanis was out. Now Claire, a former sports writer and marketing executive with the Dodgers, was quickly in control of constructing a roster.
Take me back, Mr. Claire, to 1988, if you will, putting together that championship team. And really, you really didn't have any, at the time, it's my understanding, no experience with player trades. Yet you made a blockbuster one.
When I was asked to take over in player personnel, the most important thing to me was to be able to bring our team together, not only the major league staff, but our minor league people, our scouts. And so there were a number of trades that were made, a number of moves that were made. And fortunately, as history has recorded, we won the World Championship in 1988.
Building a team and winning a championship in 1988 was not the greatest challenge for Fred Claire. In 2016, then 80 years of age, Fred was fighting for his life. Skin cancer had spread to his jaw.
And that's when they did the surgery to remove the cancer from my jawbone and put me through, or I went through 33 radiations, 7 chemos, was doing very well. And then in January of 2017, the cancer came back in my neck. And then, unfortunately, cancer is a ever consistent, persistent opponent. And so in July of last year, they had to do another operation where they took the fibula bone from my left leg and replaced my jawbone. So I became very familiar with the staff, the doctors, the great people, the great care that City of Hope provides. And I simply wanted to help tell the story in any way that I could to help future and current patients.
I'd be remiss if we didn't discuss what's happening in the world today. What do you make of all of this as you watch, I'm sure, closely via television, night in and night out?
I think quite often of the words of Jackie Robinson, and I think of his life, and I think of his challenges that he faced as a person, as a player. And those words are, a life is not important except on the impact it has on other lives. So I think for all of us, as we think about the turmoil, the challenges, the uncertainty, that we think not about ourselves as much as we do for what we can do to be a part of the solution, because that's what Jackie would always strive to do.